Something big, bro.
Like deer big?
I'm not sure, but it's big. I'm gonna try to capture this on my phone. I left my phone in the truck.
Here. What you got?
Alright, so I definitely see something. And we've been trying to film this, but this thermal does not record. So we're trying to film it with the phone behind it, but it's too far away. But it's a giant heat signature. I mean, that palm tree, this thing doesn't have a, whatchamacallit on it, a range finder. But I would have to say that that palm tree from here is about 500 yards easily. And the signature that I'm seeing is standing at least 6 to 7 feet tall. My name is Vadim, and you're about to watch my first documentary called The Skunk Ape Hunt. And why is it called The Skunk Ape Hunt? It's because me and my partner Bob have decided to go out to the Big Cypress Preserve and investigate the famous, elusive Florida skunk ape. Now, how did we get to this point? What made us basically get off the couch and go investigate the skunk ape? I'll tell you how. So, one, we are from Sarasota, Florida, and we are right next to Mayaca River State Park, and right next to home, we have had pretty crazy encounter stories with letters being sent to the police department, with multiple witnesses filming something in Mayaca River State Park. And that's when I really first heard about the skunk ape. Now, the skunk ape is like a version of a Florida Bigfoot, basically. A cryptid, so to speak. So people often ask me, do you believe in Bigfoot? And it's a question that I can never answer with just a yes, even though I do have an open mind and I do believe that something could be out there. So let me tell you quickly how I got into this. And this happened approximately 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I was on this trip around the United States with a bunch of people from overseas. And on this trip, I met a hunter who liked to hunt all over the world. This guy's been everywhere: Africa, Canada, North America, places in Europe, Asia. I mean, you name it. And on one of his expeditions, they flew to the Caucasus Mountains in Russia to hunt these mountain goats, which are famous for having these really wicked horns that make excellent trophies. Now, this place that they were going to is no easy place to get to. They had to fly like a small plane to land near a village where they met with 2 hunting guides. It was a total of 4 hunters and 2 of these guides, total of 6 people. They put all their gear in a 6x6 army truck, and they had to drive for almost 2 days to get to where they were going, through pretty treacherous roads, woods, swamps. When the truck could not drive anymore, they had to continue on foot. So when they finally got to their location, they set up their camp. Everybody was in great spirits. I mean, they prepared for this hunt for months in advance. A lot of money has been spent. A lot of gear has been bought. People have been paid. And when they finally went out looking for these mountain goats, these goats live on the side of cliffs. So you can only really hunt them like in this cliff area, basically. When they went out looking for these goats, I think it was on day 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, because they haven't seen any just yet. They got to this location where it was right on the bottom of a cliff face. And all of a sudden, these rocks and all kinds of other debris starts to fall on these hunters. And you couldn't really see where it was coming from, the way the cliff was situated at the moment, but they thought at first that it was a sign of goats, because again, they live on the cliffs, they like to roam around there, and they kick down little rocks, which can cause chain reaction, kick down bigger things. So the group is split in 2, and the 2 hunters and 1 guide went up this trail to try to investigate what was going on. And when they got to wherever they were going, they stumbled upon a scene from like a horror film. They witnessed 2 creatures standing about 7 to 8 feet tall with deformed looking faces, like nothing they've ever seen. And these 2 creatures were causing absolute mayhem on this cliff face. There was like hard to explain. I wasn't there. Story was told to me 10 years ago, but there was like a flat area that had like trees growing and bushes, and these creatures were just going crazy on this flat area, ripping out bushes, breaking down rocks, obviously, and the hunters below. And that group that witnessed those creatures, they were just absolutely stunned in terror. One of the hunters got so scared, he like lost his ability to speak, and he was just frozen solid. So the guide and the other hunter had to get him off of that cliff face, off of that trail they were on, to try to go meet up with the other people. They got down as soon as possible and immediately basically went back to camp. And the 2 hunters did not see what was going on top of that cliff, so they were really confused by it. They wanted to go look for themselves, but the guide was so apprehensive on it. They absolutely said this hunt, like, it's over, like, we have to get out of here as quick as possible. Apparently they heard stories about these creatures but never seen them themselves, but it's like something sacred that they could not trespass any longer on that particular land. So, and please forgive me, this was a story told to me approximately 10 years ago. The guy told me a pretty elaborate story. It was like almost like 30-40 minutes long. So I just kind of give you a quick overview of it. But that's what got me really interested in that topic. That's what sent me down the rabbit hole, studying, listening to encounter stories from all over the world. And there's a lot in the United States, and not just the Pacific Northwest. I mean, Florida is a giant hotspot. It's basically everywhere. Texas, the Northeast, everywhere. If you look at the Bigfoot mapping project, there are so many encounters, sightings, that it makes you feel like, where have I been living past so many years? It's insane. Now, after I went down the rabbit hole, studying, listening to all the different encounter stories from all over the United States, it has brought me to a very interesting thing called the Missing 411. If you haven't heard about Missing 411, I strongly encourage you to check it out. It is books and movies made by David Paulides, who is an old retired police officer and actually a SWAT guy, who so many years ago was visiting a national park and spoke to some park rangers about missing people, and they basically also sent him down the rabbit hole that he's now made a whole career on. Apparently over the past 100 years there's been like over 1,000 people missing in North American national parks under some very, very unusual circumstances. Anywhere from kids to the full-grown adults, to elderly people, to professional hunters. These people vanish without a trace. Sometimes they do get found, and there's been stories with kids that have been missing from one location and then been found a few days later as the crow flies 10-15 miles over treacherous terrain with zero injuries on them. No scrapes, no way a child could get from here to there. How does that happen? And that is really concerning because those stories are all factual. They're all documented. You can look it up. Look up missing Dennis Martin case, which has been very, very famous. Look up the park in California, Yosemite National Park, has some of the biggest clusters of missing people of anywhere in the world. It's pretty amazing. Who's taking these people? And David Paulides at first did not have an opinion of who's taking the people. He just wanted to document the cases. And then later in his career, he starts to point a finger at the cryptids taking these people, because there's just no way to explain what's happening with these people, right? So when we did our investigation, we went to the Big Cypress. It's a very scary place, especially at night. I mean, there's so many things out there besides the cryptids that can actually hurt you. So many poisonous snakes, big alligators. They got bears, elusive Florida panther. So we didn't want to take any chances. We got armed pretty good, you know, to make sure nothing comes at us from the night, so we don't end up in one of David Paulides' book, Missing 411. We're prepared for it. And as you can see in some of our video that we have filmed, we were still pretty nervous even with that, because it's not our normal cup of tea. We don't really have like a big experience with camping, backcountry stuff, so it's all new to us. And we still went out and we still did our thing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed my documentary. I worked hard on it and I did my very best. This is probably gonna be just part one. We're gonna make some more after this as we get better at it. We definitely are not gonna try to fake anything on here. We're gonna try to be completely honest up front with everything that we film. Keep an open mind. See what you think, and there'll be more. So before we set off on our expeditions, we like to get prepared as best as we possibly can. You can never be too careful. So in my truck, I have this setup in the back. I have a rifle rack that holds right now one of my favorite shotguns. It's actually a Beretta 1301 Langdon Tactical. Have extra spare mags, have an Olight, have a tourniquet, have a nice bush knife from Tops Knives. So can never have enough tourniquets. I mean, we do go out in the middle of nowhere and we go through pretty crazy stuff, and at least starting to. So having the right equipment is extremely important. On this side here, I have a med pack, which is an absolute must to have, even if you're just living your regular life. This particular med pack I have created out of 3 separate med packs, and it has all the right stuff that you might need in there. Have an Olight cable for the flashlights. You have to have a chem axe. I also have SOG pair of scissors. It's a multi-tool. Those scissors can cut through metal, through clothing, through basically anything in case of an emergency. Very important stuff. Here in this box, we basically have all of our cables for cameras, for thermals. This right here has been very useful in the field. It's a Waypoint 400 Streamlight. with 400,000 candela, so it's extremely bright and very useful whenever you are in the complete darkness. Over here in the back, I have my loadout box. Now this goes with me basically every single time I take a trip that's out of town. A lot of things in here are very important. So all kinds of batteries for weapon lights, for cameras, you name it. You have to have matches, weatherproof, headlight, fire starter, mosquito repellent, couple of knives. On the bottom here, we keep an extra rope. We keep our little propane stove, which is very handy when it comes to just making hot water, tea, coffee, or making some of these things. Some zip ties, extra shirts, machete, camp saw. You have to have some hot sauce with you everywhere you go. Tabasco is not sponsoring me, not yet anyway, so that was a freebie. Over here, I have some of our equipment that is also very handy in the field. So I have our drone. This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Little drone, don't have to register when you fly it. Very easy to use, great thing to have. So this is our pulsar thermal. The quality of this thermal is not really good. It doesn't see really well from far away, but it does record, and that's why we like it. Over here is the Trigicon IR Night Hunter. Now, this is as best as you can get in the thermal technology. Extremely expensive. This is the only item that I do not own. This was actually borrowed to me by a good friend Nate, and Nate, we thank you so much. This has been a great help to us in the field. Of course, you gotta have the Olight flashlight. So small, I have several of these, about 2,000 lumens each. Clips on right to your belt. Rechargeable USB batteries, very convenient. The back here, backpack with extra clothes, socks, underwear, you name it, a few other things. Have to have a rain jacket. And here we have some ammo, mostly 9mm and 12 gauge. Can never have enough knives. And my knife of choice is always going to be a Benchmade. Here are some of the weapons that we brought with us for our protection while we were exploring the marsh. This right here happens to be one of my favorite rifles. This is a Marlin 1895 SBL, chambered in 45-70. So very famous movie gun. If you've seen Jurassic World with Chris Pratt, that's what he had for things like Tyrannosaurus Rex or the Indominus Rex. And also a movie called Wind River with Jeremy Renner, where he actually had this to hunt other kind of predators. So this one here is fitted with a Night Force 1x8 scope, which is a very, very nice scope. This acted like my binocular at times in the preserve. This is a very good thing to have with us. And then I also have a night version of this gun. It is also a Marlin, also a 45-70, but this one is called the Dark Series. It is more fitted for a night investigation, has a Surefire light, which is very, very good. Surefire brushing pad, just a red dot for close encounters, so to speak. And yeah, this made us feel a lot safer being in the swamp. Both guns shoot a very large caliber bullet called 45-70, which I'm going to demonstrate to you right now. These right here are your typical AR-15s. Well, these are actually both M4s. So they shoot a round called 5.56, and I'm going to put it right over here so you can see it for comparison. And this gun right here shoots a round called 45-70. So this right here is a pretty serious round, as you can see, compared to the 5.56. So if you're going to be shooting bigger game, I recommend a bigger round. It just makes sense to me. There he is.
We're here.
So, you go by Bob.
I do go by Bob, since you're a big old boy.
Big old boy. But your real name is?
That's Justin Milliman.
Justin Milliman. Tell me about yourself, Justin Milliman. Where are you from and how old are you?
Originally from southeastern Ohio. Grew up 99% of my life there. Been down here in Florida for about 4 years now. Grew up playing football, and that's how I ended up here. 22 years old. Living life.
Now, what got you interested in the scripted topic? How did you end up going on expeditions with me?
So actually, you did, my friend. Obviously, we worked together. We have worked together for 3 years now. And really, I mean, you would talk about stories and encounters and show me cool things, and it always kind of got me interested. But there was one story in particular that I really found interesting and really kind of dug down the rabbit hole, so to speak. And that was the Mayaka letter story. If you're not familiar, it's the story of the woman who sent in pictures to the police department, the local police department, actually not too far. Well, we're probably, what, 15 minutes from the park here. Those pictures of what she called a somewhat size of an orangutan in her backyard. And that to me really stood out. That whole story of how she sent it to them, she wanted to keep it quiet, didn't want, and she even said in the letter she didn't want her backyard to turn into somebody's zoo. And that really speaks volumes to me. If somebody was trying to, you know, blow up and make something famous, why keep it so quiet?
Say both times. Both times we went to the Big Cypress. What was the one thing on your mind that was making you a little bit afraid?
All right, really two big things. First and second time. Really, any time that if you're ever gonna go to the Everglades or be out in the wild in Florida, you got to worry about snakes. I don't mess with snakes. I mean, I'll blow them to smithereens, but I don't mess with them. I don't mess with, you know, rattlesnakes down here, big old pythons, which, funny enough, we got yet to see, but all we heard were stories about these pythons. And then obviously the biggest thing is gators. Gators can sneak up on you. They're big animals. They're quiet. They can come up on you without even making any noise. I don't want to have to wrestle a gator. You know, I heard. You ever heard that story about Chubb and Happy Gilmore? I don't want to lose my head.
Just one of our 2 pit stops before we hit the preserve. Gonna get some gas, some groceries. Then we're gonna stop by a Bass Pro Shop, get some boots to walk to the marsh. Here we are making a stop at Bass Pro Shop. Pick up some last minute supplies. Let's do it. Morning. Thank you.
Well, I was born on the banks of the Sabine River, not far from the Texas line.
Oh my God.
I ain't got much, but I'm damn proud of this double wide up in the pines. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go to my grave, protecting me and mine. So you better understand, if you step on my land, I'll leave you where you lie. Let the wolves cry.
Time to hit the road. One more stop by Publix really quick, and we're good to go. We're getting close to the preserve, getting close to our destination, and we're about, I'd say, 25 minutes away from Big Cypress and the Skunk Ape headquarters with the campground. And as you can see right here, the marsh has already started. So we are now in the swampland. Everywhere you go, left or right, you're in the water. So with any luck today, we'll see a 25-footer, a python, hopefully at night, maybe a big gator, who knows. This is also a pretty big panther habitat. There are signs everywhere. Panther crossing, this and that, but those are extremely elusive. So it's very hard to catch one on camera. Tonight we're gonna try to catch one with a thermal at night. So to do that, we have to basically find a spot and sit there for about an hour, maybe even more. Complete quietness, just waiting for a panther to come out. So that will be the plan tonight, and we can probably do that right from the campground. From where I understand, it's got a really big area. I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 30 acres, the actual campground itself. So that's plenty. No fences. What's the plan tonight?
Go out, walk through some swampland, see what we come up with. Definitely learn from our mistakes last time. You can actually get out there, get off the trail a little bit, get off the beaten path, see what we find.
Exactly. Now, we're here looking for a skunk ape, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think we're gonna find one, Bobby. But we're gonna try it. Oh, is that a big gator? Oh no, it's just a, never mind. Something I want to mention. So there are lots of encounter stories from people seeing the skunk ape in this whole area, the Big Cypress Preserve, Bear Island, Everglades. One of the most credible encounters ever recorded in this area, it was a bus carrying 20 plus people, and as the bus was driving down the road, people saw something standing in the marsh, and it was, you know, a skunk ape. It was about 6.5 feet tall, 7 feet tall, standing by the tree, and the bus has stopped, and 20 plus people saw the same exact thing. So that is as credible as it can get. So yeah, we have landed at the Skunk Ape headquarters at the Trail Lakes Campground, and I want to do a proper introduction to the place where we're spending the night today, and the place is called Cheeky 3. So follow me. So this right here is Cheeky 3. This is Bob. Bob has won the lottery, and he's going to be sleeping on the first floor tonight.
Is that what we're saying? The lottery?
Kind of. So let me introduce you to Bob's lair over here. So, and tonight it's supposed to get cold. It's supposed to be in like the low 50s at night. There are no windows. It's a screen. Not very good screen, but you know, it's there. So it's gonna be chilly here today. So Bob is here, and I am gonna be in the VIP lounge of this bamboo staircase. This is my lair over here. So yeah, good thing we brought our sleeping bags, because it is gonna be cold tonight. I'm gonna give you a little tour of this campground. We got some firewood. You know, I think this fire pit is fine for tonight. Yeah. I think it's just more convenient, closer to the truck, you know, if we gotta get some drinks or whatnot. So yeah. And then, yeah, this campground is pretty cool. Oh, thank you, we're good. Appreciate it. No. Skunk ape hunting.
Oh, you were the fruit back there?
Yes, sir. Where's your brother? He around?
No, he went down to the beach, I believe. His sons are there, I believe.
That's right. Thank you, though.
Hello.
Hey, what's up again?
All right, I'm gonna pay you for that arrow. Thank you.
Want one of these, boy? Wrap it around yourself.
You want to go in there and film? GoPro, check it out.
Yeah, can we?
Go for it, my
Awesome,
man.
thank you.
Give us a tag and you can put the pictures and everything on Facebook or whatever.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks, dude.
All right, turn that up. All right, so we're back at Dave Shealy's Skunk Ape headquarters, and this right here is his call it a roadside zoo. It's not that big, but it's got a lot of cool stuff over here. Like, look at that. That's a small reticulating python right there. And over here, he's got a little snapping turtle. That's an alligator snapping turtle. Oh no, it's not. It's a Florida snapping turtle. I apologize. Yeah, they don't get as big as the alligator one. Go check it out over here. This is the pride and joy of the museum. They got I believe it's a 24-foot python. So that right there is what we're looking for in the preserve. They caught this one right here, right outside this place. So all that marsh we're walking around through, they definitely have over there. Here's a couple of smaller versions. This is the one that we're probably going to see once we walk around.
It's still a pretty decent sized snake, buddy. That one over there is just a monster.
Yeah, that's a model of a diamondback rattlesnake. They actually have those here too.
What is this species?
An American alligator. Over here, we have another thing that we have been trying to catch on camera. Those are very elusive, but they do have them here in the preserve. There's signs everywhere. I just noticed something else. Check it out. He's got two skunk apes. He's got one over there, one over here. I totally missed this last time. You know what I think? I think you should climb over that fence and go pet it really quick, and I'll hold the GoPro.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna be able to climb that fence.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Big Cypress.
This marshy mud.
This is the original land of Skunk Ape. This is before the Mayaka story. People have been seeing these things over here for quite some time, so pretty interesting. Are you glad I got you out those cowboy boots, boy?
But my cowboy boots, I probably make it through, but
It's getting deeper over here.
It's getting a lot deeper.
It's getting deeper for sure, yeah.
Let's see, where are you up to? Stand in the water. Let's get a shot of that.
I'm just over the ankles for now. So it's like if you stand there for a little bit, it actually sucks you in. What is this? This thing just pinched me.
Pinched you?
Yeah, when you touch it, it pinches you. All like this. The moment you get off the road, you're basically in water, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm pretty surprised we actually made it so far, this far. Track right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at that.
Camera, pick that up.
Yeah, that's definitely a python track. So they're here. One of the rangers told me that these things normally come out at night. That's when you see them the most, because it's very hard to spot them with this kind of grass. They blend in just, you know, absolutely perfect with this. But at night, these guys cross the road, and they kind of like the feel of a road compared to, you know, constantly being in the grass. So they stick around there, and that's why they do see them here at night. Very hard to see the tracks here because of all the grass. I feel like we're gonna get lucky tonight with something. I don't know if it's gonna be a skunk ape, but we're for sure gonna film something tonight.
We're here with Dave Sheally, and he's famous in the skunk ape Bigfoot world. He had his own encounter, he caught some tracks, and we document that already. So my question to you is, your original encounter, the one with you and your brother, describe it please.
I was 10 years old. This has been 1973. We'd heard about the skunk ape for years as kids growing up, that people would say that they saw one, and it was described to us as being like as tall as a man, covered with hair. Well, this particular morning, my brother and I went out behind the park here to do a little hunting, and my brother stopped. He saw something in the distance moving through the grass, and I couldn't see him because the grass was pretty high, so he had to pick me up. And when he did, I looked out, and maybe 100 yards away was a skunk ape, just like we'd been hearing about. And it kind of got my interest. So I've been doing this all my life, over about almost 50 years, 48 years I've been researching skunk apes here in the Everglades.
Now the track, really quick about the track. When were you able to cast that track?
The track that I have in the case, I have two tracks. We'll just talk about the most significant one, and I'll show it to you. That was in 2000. I took a video of the skunk ape on the marsh, running across the marsh. And it's been a long time ago. And what people didn't realize when they saw it was there's 1.5 to 2 foot of water on the ground. So it's taken all this time to get people down here to go out and do the study on exactly what happened. And it's no way that somebody was hoaxing me. This was surreal animals. If you get a chance to see the video, I highly recommend that you take a look at it. You have my permission to use it if you want to. Show it around, it's fine with me.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's awesome, man. Listen, it's been great talking to you, man. Thank you.
It's been great talking to you too.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
All right.
This is a perfect place for us to do the night investigation today.
Yeah.
So, perfect. The water is not too deep over here. It's nice open ground. The thermal footage would look really, really good through here.
Yeah, this is really good. Some of us out here riding.
This is exactly the kind of place we tried to find last time, but we could not find it, where we can actually walk into the marsh, because last time it was completely flooded. Now, I mean, there's a little bit of water here, but it is definitely doable. Find these shells everywhere. So there's lots of snails here. You think skunk ape eat snails? It's considered to be a delicacy, so.
It's empty. You just walk by, slip that out of there.
1x8 scope is really good over here. This is, by the way, the gun of choice that we have for these lands. Just in case we see a skunk ape that, you know, comes to attack us. There's nothing better than a Marlin 1895 4570 SBL. Has a little kick to her, but boy is she dependent. Good job, buddy. Good job. Again, we're scouting for a place where we can do a nighttime investigation. We just found a really good place down there. Here's another great place. And why? Because there are trees and look at the ground. You can actually walk on it. It's just muddy, that's it. So this is really good. Let's go check it out. This trip right here, our second attempt is already bringing like really good results. We found places where we can actually walk in. We're not just driving around aimlessly looking for a place. This is perfect.
Buddy, look at this. Or a little bit after.
A little bit after, I'd say. It's 2 o'clock right now. I say we have about an hour left to kind of walk around, do some investigating, scout a few more locations, and then we go back. We prepare some food, eat up, rest up a little bit, and then we're gonna come out here at night with the thermals, and we're gonna get down. If there is a skunk ape over here, we're gonna find it tonight. He's going down tonight. So we just found this trail right here. It looks like a 4x4 road that's been, you know, forgotten, and it's now blocked off by a big rock, and it gets really thick over here. This is like a perfect place for a panther to hide out.
Yeah.
It's nice and thick. There's no water, no marsh. Again, we keep finding spots that don't have any water, which last time we thought this whole place was completely submerged, which it is. There's literally maybe like 5% of it not flooded, and we just keep finding it this time. Look at this. This is a perfect, so the last time we came here, I was really concerned about the skunk ape actually living in this area because there was so much water. But now that we're finding places like this is like a bedding area.
Absolutely.
If this is like a mattress. It's nice and soft. It's dry. So, man, maybe there is a skunk ape here after all. After last time, I'm like, where is the skunk ape gonna sleep if he lives here, right? In the trees? But I guess, yeah, that's what happens when you explore. You keep finding spots that are kind of away from people. Nobody camps here. This is completely secluded. I mean, there is a road about a quarter mile that way, but nothing is close. So this is the exact kind of an area skunk ape would choose to thrive in.
Let me ask you this. You think the skunk ape prefers a hard or soft mattress?
You know, I'm gonna say soft. I'm gonna say soft. So those nests that the people found up in Washington State, the Olympic project, I think if I'm not mistaken, they found a total of 9 nests completely far away from people. And those nests, like nobody slept in those nests for a while, but you could tell that whoever made those nests brought leaves over there and like softer branches, kind of like that stuff, just to make it soft basically. So yeah, I would say this right here is an absolutely perfect place for a skunk ape if there is still a skunk ape in those areas. And according to the reports on the Bigfoot mapping project, there are lots of skunk ape encounters in this whole area. And it smells minty over here. You smell that smell?
Yeah.
It smells like mint. I think it's this. Nope, not that. Feel how soft this is.
Oh yeah, I probably wouldn't touch that.
This is very soft.
Yeah.
Right, so here's a pretty cool encounter that happened here, right in this area in 1979, right? So I'm gonna read this from a Bigfoot mapping project. All right. So it goes like this: a member of a carpenters union, basically of Naples, Florida, was offered some work disassembling a house in Ochopee. Our crew of about 8 men arrived very early before the trucks, so we climbed up on the roof to enjoy the sunrise and the view. A couple of us were munching on sandwiches and sipping on sodas. On the way up to the roof, some of us noted a foul smell emanating from a basement. As all of the lower windows were broken, we assumed an animal had crawled in there and died. Suddenly, one of the guys at the edge yelled for us to look below him. We all came to the roof's edge and observed a tall, hairy creature leaving the basement of the house and walking upright towards the edge of the trees, directly away from us. As soon as the creature reached the tree line, it turned and squatted, facing us on the roof, about 40 yards away. The creature was about 6 feet tall, with reddish-brown hair all over its body. It made no noise or other movement. The silent standoff continued until the creature suddenly stood and gazed far off to the west. It had heard our trucks arriving before we could all even see them from the roof. The creature turned and had totally disappeared within just a few steps away from us. All through we were looking down from a height. In full daylight, it was just gone. So that's a pretty cool encounter. I guess a construction crew, 1979. So as I said earlier, this is way before that Mayaka story. So this place is the original place for the Skunk Ape encounters. And there's many more. This is just the one that I found. But just to give you an idea, so we're in Ochopee right now, and this is the Bigfoot mapping project. As you can see, I can click on each one of those, like this one for example. This is from 1997, and every single one will give me a different encounter story. So eventually I'm gonna read through these and find like the nicest ones, the most interesting ones, and basically bring them to you. Right now what we're doing is we're just waiting for it to get dark, and in about an hour and a half or 2 hours we're gonna head out back to the preserve, and we're gonna do our night investigation. Hopefully it's gonna produce some results. So our second trip here, we have to get something, right? This is gonna be our night vision camera. So it's only works good from a close up few feet away, but it's good for night shots, and during daytime it has really good zoom on it. We also have a couple of GoPros. We have the 11, we have the new 12, and I'm shooting on the Hero 10 right now. So for safety reasons, Bob over here is going to be with a Glock 19X, and I will be with a Zev OZ9 X grip. And we do have very special ammo that we're going to be carrying today. So I have a blast from the past Buffalo Bore 147 grain ammunition. These are basically impossible to find. Those who know, they know. And then Bob over here, I'm gonna load him up with some Hornady 147 grain hollow points. Also very, very powerful ammo. This at the moment is our best friend when it comes to night investigations. This is a Trijicon IR Night Hunter thermal scope, which is incredibly expensive. This is the only thing that's not mine. This was borrowed to me by our friend Nate, and we thank you, Nate. He gave it to us for basically as long as we need, and this thing comes in very, very handy. I have also my very trusted Beretta 1301 Langdon Tactical with me. This right here is some of the ammo that I really trust and I prefer to use when it comes to self-defense if it's a big animal. So these right here are Hornady Super Performance slugs, also very hard to find, and is the most powerful slug that you can buy. It's 300 grains and one of the fastest slugs available. And these right here are Hornady 00 buckshot, which is a very small pattern buckshot, up to about 25-30 yards. It's about 10 to 12 inches pattern, so that is staying close by as well. See you out there.